Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. It feels so good to be back. Honestly, talking about fantasy football, it's officially, I'm calling it now, July 29th, start of fantasy football season, right here, right now. And that's because on Friday, our draft kit comes out. So we will be talking about the draft kit, not just today, not just later this week or on Friday. It's a draft kit that will continue to update. So Luke Raymer here. I am Zach Bruner. We both worked on this draft kit. If you want to scan that QR code that's on your screen, if you're on mobile, you may be able to click it. If not, go to buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner, ZACHBRUNNER, and you can become a member for $5 a month, one coffee per month, and that gets you the draft kit for free. Bingo, bango. And if you're a member, you get access to all of the data as well, all the spreadsheets.
A lot of data.
Much better. A lot of data, which means you can sort it. Otherwise, the draft kit is a PDF. So if you want to be able to sort data, get extra data, you want to become a member, or you can pay a $10 fee. That's it. And you get the draft kit, and that'll still continue to be updated throughout the summer. But I'm telling you, becoming a member is going to be much better because one, you get access to a group chat. You can ask me, you can ask Luke, you can ask any of us questions whenever you want. You get the data of the draft kit. You can sort through the data. You can save it. You can manipulate it however you would like. That's a perk. And, we got other perks coming as well, including discounts to merch stores, including all kinds of stuff. If you are a tier 2 member, you get shout outs on streams like this, on shows like this, on videos. And that's going to be cool once the season starts. So there's a lot of perks. And by the way, this is a 30-page draft kit. This is not some rinky-dink draft kit. This is an award-winning draft kit.
Yep.
This is last season I ranked top 10 for my draft rankings. I ranked top 10 for my in-season rankings. I ranked top 5 for running backs, for wide receivers, and I think for kickers. There's a lot to be gained. There's a lot of good information. And if there's something in the draft kit that, or is not in the draft kit, that you really wish was there, if you're like, hey, Zach, hey, Luke, this is an award-winning draft kit. It's so useful. This is awesome. I'm for sure going to win anyway. But if you could include X, whether it be maybe you want auction values, maybe you want some IDP content, maybe you want something like that, let us know. And we're talking August 1st right now. Maybe by August 10th, August 7th, that information will be in the draft kit. So we are very willing to listen to members, to listen to you guys. If you want more content, we'll give you more content. Like, you can be confident in the content we give you. Isn't that right, Luke?
Yeah, it's a lot of data in there, data that I didn't even know existed, and then there's data on top of that data. So there's enough data to win you not one, but two, not one, not two, not three, not four, but 8 championships. Hopefully a little bit better than what LeBron did in Miami. But no, I looked at when you were putting it together 2 years ago, that it really dove down into it with all this data, and it's not like that stupid ass nerd data, right? It's the data
No.
that actually matters. It's the data that works.
Yeah, I don't need to create, like, baseball's notorious for it forever. And now football's gotten to it where it's like it's a stat about a stat, and it's a really obscure data samples in terms of the window that you're taking the data. None of that. Like, I have a page for team stats, and the team stats are basically telling you what you need to know in terms of this is what you can expect. This is expected opportunity for defensive players. This is expected opportunity for, like, when this team's going to score, when they give up scores, all only relevant data. I can promise you that. And we'll use some of that tonight. We'll use some in future videos to show you guys. So if you're like, maybe you guys are just the greatest salesmen of all time. No, we're just honest, and we will show you the data. Trust us there.
Yep.
Luke, do you have a question or are you stretching?
No, I want to say something real quick.
Yep.
As we're kind of into, like you said, it's it's fantasy football season. Training camp started. Like everyone's back at practice.
Mhm.
High school football starts up in like 2 weeks. College football 3 weeks. So we're right here in the thick of it. I've been watching a lot of baseball lately, and I know give or take, some people love baseball, some people hate baseball. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of in between, but I think baseball is like the greatest like game ever created. Not necessarily sport, but game, just in terms of rules and dimensions and all like the little things. But I'm fucking ready for football, man.
Yeah, it's getting about that time. It was weird. I started working on the draft kids. Like, I love football. Like, that's I live, breathe football. But even still, it's like I wasn't quite into it yet. Once we get more into it, I see some pads cracking now at practice. That gets
Yeah.
me. I went and saw some high schoolers were working out, helping them with a little bit of offensive line stuff. That got me into it. And then all of a sudden, of course, the Hard Knocks preview for the
Yep.
Buffalo. And you hear that Hard Knocks chime.
Yep.
And, okay, we're back. We're good to go. So I'll put this QR code back on the screen again a bit later. But we will be live after Hard Knocks as well. We will do that again this year. So you can hang out with us. If you don't get to watch it, we'll tell you what you need to know, the cool stuff. Or if you did watch it, come hang out with us afterwards, and we can talk about it. We'll just talk a little bit of ball. And that is basically what we are doing tonight. We have a few topics we're for sure going to go over. But if you have questions,
we got one already.
Jones, I know. Clifford Jones is quick on his feet here. And if you guys have
we're back at it, Zach.
I love it. This is what we live for. We want to help you guys. Trust me. And Clifford is in an 8-man redraft league. Hasn't drafted yet. Has the first overall pick. Should I trade the 16th and 17th for the 10th and 26th?
Yeah.
Interesting. In an 8-man. I just want to look at ADP just because that could change a lot of things.
Well,
do you have an initial gut feeling?
My initial gut feeling is yes. Just right. To me, right. What's the big difference between the 17th and the 25th pick?
Yeah, so this is ADP for an 8-man league. There's going to be a lot of changes between now and then, I'm sure. So what's the biggest difference between 26th and 17th?
Yeah.
So 26 currently you're looking
in an
at
8-man league.
Right. So we're looking at T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Elvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill situation. If you go up to 16th, you're looking at Jacobs, Brian Thomas, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor. I don't know. Otherwise, the difference between 16th and
we're back.
Did you have it backwards?
It's a new season. We're back at it. I was thinking 16th and 17th round for 10th and 26th round.
Oh, no. Definitely overall.
Then I think I'd rather keep 16 and 17 then. Just
I would assume, right?
Yeah, with the 8-man, there's going to be good players everywhere. So I don't necessarily know that it pays to trade up for a guy. Like, you're going to get starting value, the 6 picks later than if you trade up to 10.
I will say, in an 8-man league, in such a shallow league, you need to have the guys who are game breaking. You need to have the top of the top. So I will say, starting Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors doesn't hurt. Or starting Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, A-Chain. I don't hate that. But if you don't do that, then you would start, let's just say again, Jamar Chase. And then you would get maybe Josh Jacobs, maybe Brian Thomas, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, which is also pretty damn good. So, or even reach a little bit for Lamar Jackson, just so you know. You have an elite quarterback too.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're really breaking it down here, like, to me, you're going right, like you said, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors. What is that compared to Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
Is that twosome better than that threesome right there?
To be honest, I got a little bit distracted at the ad on the side of the screen. I was just making sure I wasn't getting completely blocked off YouTube. Say your question one more time.
So Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors. Let's say you have 1 and 10. Yeah, is that twosome that much better than a Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson, or Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irving, Jamar Chase, Josh Jacobs, Brian Thomas. I don't know.
Right. I don't think
Any
it's
of those
that
three.
much better. I will say I'm all in on Malik Neighbors, but even
Love him.
still, I don't think it's that much of a difference. You're right.
Yeah, I think he's fine with staying one and going 16, 17.
Yeah, I agree. I would be more willing to trade something with that next, round. Like if you have 16, 17 when it comes back to 20, whatever, I'd be willing to trade one of those to move up maybe. But I think you're okay. I think we're in that time where we just want fantasy football to be here. We want to make something happen. And that's where it's dangerous. People who are making trades right now, you gotta double check it, because people are making trades to make trades.
Yeah.
And I get it. I definitely want to be one of those people as well. But take a step back. We got a long season ahead. I think you're okay. Okay. So definitely ask any other questions, Clifford, or anybody else who's watching. If you are on Twitter, you have to click into it to type. If you are on one of those other platforms, I think same thing. So if you comment under the tweet or tweet at me like that, it's not going to show up. So definitely click in and then type. What's your question, Luke?
My question is, and not to get off the rails immediately in our first show, but I was at the diner for brunch the other day, and I got a patty melt, and I think to myself, everywhere I go, I get a patty melt. Is there something that whenever you go to, you see it on the menu and you don't look at anything else, that's what you're getting?
I'm the exact opposite type of person. I always like to try something completely new. So I know a lot of people like that. I like the patty melt thing though. I think that's a solid way, especially in Wisconsin, Midwest here. That's a solid way to judge a place, is a patty melt. And I mean, have you had a bad patty melt? I've had a dry one, I guess, which isn't great,
but patty melt's easy to kind of spruce up with, mustard or whatever you put on there and make it better.
Yeah. I'm going to ask one more non-related to football question to you, since you said diner. I heard this question the other day, and this is going to be a good answer out of you, I think. If you were in a diner, you just ordered a patty melt, so you're feeling good.
Yeah.
It's going to come back. You're excited. How many clowns have to enter the diner before you leave? One at a time.
Oh, interesting.
They come in one at a time. Yeah.
So I guess just to set the picture a little bit more here, what part of the meal? So I assume I haven't got the food yet.
No, I think you sit down, they brought you water, and you're still looking over the menu. You haven't quite saw that patty melt yet, and the first clown walks in. And they're not all sitting at a table like it's a clown convention. It's just random clowns are coming in.
So I guess if I'm there by myself, I'm very unaware of things that go on when I'm out in the world by myself. It kind of tunnel vision. So I think probably the first 3 that came in, I wouldn't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're sitting, if you're sitting at a bar or at the bar of the diner right up front, you kind of hear the door open, you check over your shoulder and look. Then I probably notice a 4th one and look around what the hell are all these clowns doing here? 5th, 6th, I think be all right. And 7th, I'd be something's up.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably just short of double digits.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard this question asked. I think there's a couple, you have to ask it a specific way, because if they're all coming in sitting at one table, I'm uneasy. I don't love clowns, but I'm not freaking out. But if they all sit separately, I don't know. That weirds me out. I'm below.
I don't know. I think
I'm below you. If there's 5 that all came in separate, I'm getting out.
I think it'd be weird if they all sat together. No, maybe not. Because then they're probably in town for a clown convention or something.
Exactly. Or if they all sit separately, then I get it in my own head, because it's there's no way they didn't all come here separately. So they're coordinating something.
Right.
Do they all have guns? Are they all going to pull out something? I'm out of there. I don't need to deal with this today.
Yeah. Yeah, and then most of the time clowns are not really that. I guess I haven't experienced a clown in a while, but that in my experience they're not that harmless. But you're still in the back of your head, you're thinking, it, Terrifier, all these, all the the most brutal horror movies of all time just have to do with clowns.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what year it was. It was definitely before COVID, because I was living in Superior. But remember, it must have started around Halloween. There was those people dressing up like clowns just in regular cities and
Yeah.
either chasing people or actually like killing people and stuff. If this question was at the highlight of that, I mean, it would be a different situation. But
for sure,
I encountered one of said clowns like that too, and that I sped the fuck up. It was scary. I don't like clowns. I'm not afraid of them, but I watched it at a very young age.
Yeah,
and I mean, I just acknowledge it's one of those things. It's like, again, talking about Superior. When I encounter a moose up there, which does happen, I'm not afraid of moose, but I'm gonna keep my distance.
Don't want to be around it.
Same thing with clowns. If I'm at a fair,
I
cross the road.
So you're talking about the old movie, the old.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the
obviously
new one yet. The new two.
My hot take is that the old It is scarier. Not necessarily the movie, but the Pennywise is scarier in the old one than he is in the new one.
Okay, I mean that drain scene.
Maybe not scarier, creepier.
Sure, he was creepy. I know that. So yeah, I have nothing to compare it to, but yeah, creepier than Terrifier, I would say. Terrifier is just wild, I guess.
Incredible 3 movies.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into some football talk. Again, definitely ask us questions. If you have non-football questions, go ahead and ask that as well, if you would like. But we're going to talk about some
French dip with the au jus is good too. All right, sorry.
True, or like a Philly cheesesteak or something like that. Pretty solid.
Yep. All right, sorry.
We're going to talk about some backfield situations today. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys backfield. This is one of the more intriguing backfields to me, and I think everyone is sort of not respecting the Cowboys in this backfield enough. I understand Cowboys have been pretty bad lately. Jerry Jones is kind of acting like a clown, like we were just talking about clowns. But this offensive line's good, and there is so much value available. So one of the things in our draft kit is vacant carries, vacant targets. Let me actually show you guys this. Once I get my tabs all figured out here. So here's something that we have in the draft kit. We have the vacant carries, vacant targets for all these teams, right? And Cowboys, obviously, completely new backfield. They have Javonte Williams in there. They have Miles Sanders. They drafted a couple people. The Cowboys have 357 carries up for grabs. And if they're better this year, presumably if they play with a lead whatsoever, they're going to be running the ball even more. So they have the second most carries available. Steelers are the only one higher than them. So there's going to be a lot of value to be had. But everyone's like, okay, the Cowboys I saw this by multiple people today. They are like the 22nd, 24th ranked offensive line or something like that. I'm telling you guys, that's
kind of crazy.
I don't know what they're ranking, but I'm telling you, as someone who is an offensive line coach, offensive line scout, and knows what he's talking about with offensive line, this offensive line might be a top 5 run blocking offensive line. Looking at the starting unit here, Tyler Guyton, we'll talk about him in a second. He just got hurt, but luckily avoided season-ending injury. Like, you can question him in pass pro a little bit, but I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be moving a shit ton of bodies once he's back. Tyler Smith.
Wanted him on Green Bay.
Same. I want Tyler Smith yesterday. Tyler Smith is so good. This interior 3, by the way, I'd put them up against anybody. Tyler Smith is going to be a road grader. Tyler Booker out of Alabama, rookie, road grader. He is NFL ready immediately. Cooper Beebe, again, he's pretty laterally quick as well. I think he's a really solid center. You know, talking about Cowboys, you always know they're going to have a really good center. Beebe is exactly that. And then Terrence Steele, I think for whatever is worth, he's the worst one on the line, but I think he's plenty fine. They're going to run the ball very well. Very well. And oh, by the way, Jake Ferguson can block. Luke Schoonmaker can block.
Yeah, dog.
So they are going to be just fine. And Hunter Lupke from, I believe, Spencer, Wisconsin. He's great too.
Yeah.
He can block, he can catch, he can do everything. So they will run the football with success. I can guarantee you that. So whoever's running the ball, I think we have to respect. Looking at the backfield, we got Javonte Williams coming in, Miles Sanders. Those are the two who are splitting the first string carries right now. Jaden Blue, before camp, apparently coaches were upset. He was lazy, not good. Stock on Jaden Blue fell dramatically. Training camp has started, and all of a sudden he's impressing everybody on the field. So he is very clearly behind Sanders and Williams, but I think Blue has a chance to impress some people. Okay. Phil Maffa went drafted in the 7th round, I believe, out of Clemson.
Yep.
This is what head coach Schottenheimer recently said. This guy, Phil Maffa, I'm starting to feel him. I'm starting to feel Phil. He likes Phil Maffa. So if you are in a dynasty league, make sure he's owned. If you are, looking for, if you're in a 16-team league, obviously, if you're drafting now, good for you. But this, no matter what, is a guy you need to keep an eye on, because I don't think anybody is locked into a spot in this backfield. So there's no reason to believe Phil Maffa can't just rise the ranks this entire preseason, this entire training camp, and carve out a legitimate role. The only person I am fully counting out is, what's his name? Deuce Vaughn. Don't care.
Yeah. He's a Nepo baby too. Is he going to stay in because of that?
I think he stays on the team because of it.
Right.
But I don't think Deuce Vaughn's fine. He's for sure not going to be an early down running back.
I doubt that he gets a carry this season.
Yeah, even if he does, he's just not built to be an early down running back. So at best, and I don't think he can even achieve this, but at best, he's a 3rd down guy. So
right.
I don't think that's going to happen. If I had to put my money on anybody, it's Javonte Williams. But even still, all these guys need to be owned. This is going to be a situation we absolutely cover this entire
Is this
preseason. Yeah.
Is this a situation where, I don't know, I guess I don't know the ADPs off the top of my head, but is it a situation where, let's say it's the 10th round, you're looking for any kind of running back help, do you take both Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders?
I'm completely fine with that. I do think we get some sort of clarity, but even if we don't, I think within that first few weeks of the season, something's going to happen. Someone's going to edge the other person out. And regardless, if both of them, given where you draft them, like you just said, if both of them get 12 carries per game, I'm buying it. I'm fine. I think this offensive line's that good.
Yeah. On top of that, I don't hate, speaking about Jaden Blue, it almost feels like it could be a situation like maybe we saw in Tampa a little bit last year, where Sean Tucker kind of came on for a little bit at the end of the year, or Denver a couple of years ago with Jaleel McLaughlin. It kind of feels like a guy who may be at the top of our running back pickup articles in come week 4 or week 5.
100%. I think if he is okay in pass protection, which I kind of think he is, he was in a pro style offense at Texas. I think he's good. If you asked me a month ago who I'm betting on, I probably would have said Jaden Blue, just because of his price and where he is. It's just, I know the coaches were unhappy with him. The fact that he is rising the ranks right now in terms of their good graces, I'm fine owning Jaden. I own him in Dynasty. I'm fine throwing darts at him. I'm fine throwing darts at any of these guys, because we'll talk about ADP in a second, but you're almost investing nothing. And if one of them becomes the starter or the majority ball carrier, we're not talking about a flex value guy. We just aren't. We're talking about RB2 or better. So there's so many running backs we'll talk about more later. There's so much value right now. But
it feels like,
go ahead.
It feels like Dallas is in a situation, and maybe less of Dallas and more of Schottenheimer.
Yep.
Schotten is it kind of feels like a guy like this happens like this every NFL offseason, where they don't even have a chance to perform or prove anything yet, and people already say that they're just absolutely horrible and shouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
I remember people not that he's a coach, but last year when Denver drafted Bo Nix, everyone immediately labeled it a bust. The guy hadn't even played football yet. It kind of feels like Dallas and Schottenheimer, more specifically, is kind of filling that void this year.
I agree. And it goes both ways. Either they're labeled as a bust or they're crowned before they set foot on the field. Right. I saw a tweet by, I think, a legitimate person yesterday or today. They're name a team that has best 5 players than the New York Giants. And they named their 5 players, and they were great. but one of them was Abdul
Yeah.
Carter. I'm like, brother,
Yeah.
like everyone has a player better than Abdul Carter. He hasn't played it yet. So we're not going to crown anybody. You're not going to write anybody off yet. There's so many people completely forget that so much of the value is based on the scheme they're in and just the opportunity that's available to them. That's why we have all these opportunity stats and stuff like that in the draft kit, and we'll have throughout the season and stuff. Opportunity leads to productivity. And I'm telling you, nobody has more opportunity available in the running back room than the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why we need to talk about them.
Quite literally.
Even though I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. I'm upset that I like the Cowboys this year. I really am, because there's so many. I love this offensive line. I love George Pickens. I love a lot of the defensive players. Jerry's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Jerry Jones, but I'm intrigued. I'll listen to him if he's on a mic. The Cowboys are great. The Cowboys are back. And when we were doing our schedule, or you can go look at the NFL schedule. You can get the schedule laid out in the draft kit too. The Cowboys have so many primetime games.
Yeah. Green Bay's at Dallas Sunday night, week 4.
Yeah, they have. This isn't just the Dallas Cowboys are paying for primetime games like it can be. Dallas Cowboys are going to be good. I truly believe that. If Dak is healthy, this offensive line healthy, they're going to be good. Let's talk about the offensive line quickly. I was terrified. Cowboys fans, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah.
Tyler Guyton, I assume he got carted off. Everyone was saying ACL injury. Reports are that he avoided ACL injury. He ended up getting a bone fracture and then a sprained knee. Still not great, but a 4 to 6 week recovery means he's probably put on the PUP list to start the year. But, I mean, he's back most likely before that Sunday night game against Green Bay that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna. This would have been a really big training camp for him too. So this is shitty that he's missing valuable time, but just the fact that they don't have to turn to. I mean, who's their backup? They don't have to turn to Asim Richards or somebody like that. Honestly, when I heard the news, I was like, "Where's Tyron Smith? Call him up. He's not retired. He's coming back." But I do think that's still in Jerry Jones's back pocket if something is to happen. But getting Tyler Guyton back is going to be massive. The highlights cut out. I hate that. I love the Cowboys. George Pickens opens up this entire offense.
So much.
It's going to be a great offense. Maybe I'll get clipped. Maybe I'll be on the fantasy receipts thing for the first time ever in a few months. But I don't know. I'm all in on this offense. I think Dak is probably a great value. I think all the running backs are a great value. Talking about, I said they're free. So Javonte Williams is my bet to be the highest ranked running back by the end of the year. He just is. He's running back 35 right now. So he's going late in the 8th round in 12-man leagues. I'm taking that. Like he might be a very easy borderline RB1.
You said end of the 8th?
Yeah, 808.
Yeah, so by the time you have your team, your core of your team, let's say, right, quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. That's what, 6 picks. That means that you're drafting for your bench, you're drafting for depth. You're not going to find many more starting running backs to put at your depth, to start at your depth spot.
No, he's going. I mean, okay, so take it with a grain of salt because it looks like fucking Abani Konda and some people here. So he's probably going early 8th, if I had to guess. This is weird that Fantasy Football Calculators is messed up. But still, I am willing to take a chance on him. Is this a bold take? I think I would be willing to take a chance on him over Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I would take him over any of the rookie running backs, not named Ashton Genty, I think. And Amari Hampton, I guess.
Yeah. I guess maybe a closer one would be, Tyrone Tracy. Judkins will take out it. Like Robinson, Robinson. I don't know if I like Brian Robinson.
Well, I was going to say, I think the more interesting one is Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, I kind of like Jaylen Warren, but even still, I think at best he's splitting carries.
Right.
So I think they're all in the exact same tier. If I need to shamelessly plug again, the draft kit will have tiers for you. But Yeah, I'm taking him above Cam Scatterbo. Like he shouldn't be in this conversation. He just shouldn't.
Yeah, he's a starting running back with a very good running game. Theoretically, a good running game with that utilizes a fullback, utilizes just dogs, maulers on the offensive line. Dak Prescott does very well. Not that other quarterbacks don't, but Dak Prescott does very well when the run game gets going. I mean, they almost made it to the Super Bowl off of running Ezekiel Elliott 800 times into the ground, and Dak looking like the greatest quarterback of all time his rookie year.
Right. And Javonte will catch passes. Like he'll do it all.
Right.
But if you don't want to take him, fine. And you want to take a stab at some of these other guys, Miles Sanders is going as the 73rd ranked running back. That's free.
Yeah, it's
and then
crazy.
the other guys are going undrafted. So shit. Just pick somebody up. Who knows if you're drafting this early for some reason? Draft Miles Sanders, draft Jaden Blue. Don't draft a kicker. And then if Javonte Williams fumbles a ton in the preseason, if he gets hurt, if something crazy happens, and all of a sudden you randomly have the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys, that's how you win leagues. Like it's pretty simple.
Yep.
But the biggest thing I just want to drive home is this backfield's going to be valuable. We don't know for sure who the value is placed on yet, which is why everyone's getting drafted late. Watch this. Don't just say ick because they're the Dallas Cowboys. Watch the situation for sure. Anything else to say about the Cowboys in general or this backfield?
No, I don't think so. I think Dallas is probably a team that they're a tough division. Two teams maybe are better. Philadelphia for sure better than the Cowboys. Washington, I think, actually closer to toss up with Dallas than they are to Philadelphia. So does Dallas sneak in as a 7 seed? I wouldn't be surprised. It kind of feels like they're around that 6, 7, 8 seed this year to me.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. We shall see. Let's go to Javonte Williams' former team. Let's go to the Denver Broncos because I think this is a very interesting backfield and it's one that's getting a lot of attention today. RJ Harvey lit up practice today by all accounts. I'm not sure if I have.
What does that mean for a running back to light up practice?
He
hit the hole.
He had a good run. I'll tell you, like I know someone who was there. So what he did is there was a run play to the left. It was completely bottled up. He cut back, bounced it to the right side, and gained like 10, 15 yards, which is great. Great vision, great play.
Right.
And everyone's talking about it, including Sean Payton. I'm not sure if I have sound on here, so just tell me if you can hear it because I'll just tell you what he said. You hear this or no?
Can't hear. No.
Okay, so I mean, he just said he had a run today that was something, and that's what everyone's talking about. Okay, but before that, in this clip, this exact clip, it's not even quoted by Denver Broncos here. He's talking about how rookie running backs, inexperienced running backs coming in, they usually struggle with pass protection. There's a lot of stuff like that to work on. And he said, but RJ Harvey had a great play today. Great run. It was something. He is doing an exceptional job. Everyone's saying, oh, Sean Payton said he's doing an exceptional job at everything RJ Harvey sees, and he's incredible. I listened to it and said, that's not, he said the exact opposite. Like RJ Harvey still has a lot to learn. He's doing great. He's picking up everything so far. He's a great runner, but he is still a rookie. He still has a lot to learn in terms of pass protection. And for that reason, he's not going to be the starting running back right away. That's what I'm taking from it. That's what I've been talking about this entire offseason. And that's what I'll talk about right now. So I think during the draft process, I was high on RJ Harvey. I love RJ Harvey.
Me too.
Experienced running back. I think a senior coming out of college as well. I love
fifth year.
Yeah. I love him. I think he's a great player. I love J.K. Dobbins too. And I know Sean Payton loves J.K. Dobbins, and everyone in fantasy should love J.K. Dobbins. He is such a good player. Go ahead.
So my initial thought when Denver signed J.K. Dobbins is, so we talked about it, right? Really, the Denver Broncos have maybe the best defense in the NFL. They had a great play from a rookie quarterback last year. Receiving weapons looked awesome. The only thing that they were really missing was a true reliable running back that they can give the ball to 25 times and, not have Bo Nix make incredible decisions his rookie year. So signing RJ Harvey, immediately everyone, okay, they got their guy, he's going to be the guy that's going to get 25 carries, yada yada, which kind of seemed like it until you signed J.K. Dobbins.
Mhm.
Not that J.K. Dobbins can handle 25 carries a game, not that he's going to get 30 touches a game, but it feels like a situation where why you sign J.K. Dobbins to play J.K. Dobbins. Everything about him, he's healthy, he's ready to go. He had a great year last year for when he was on the field. It feels like to me that Denver should theoretically give J.K. Dobbins as much as he can handle and let R.J. Harvey continue to learn, right? Denver is probably not in a position to win a Super Bowl this year. So throwing your rookie running back out to the wild and expecting him to go 25 carries a game just seems idiotic to me. Sean Payton is much smarter than the average person sitting on their couch saying R.J. Harvey's the RB1. It just doesn't make sense to me to sign J.K. Dobbins and then not use him as that true number one running back.
Completely agree. And J.K. Dobbins didn't have one team that was looking to sign him, right? Like he chose where he wanted to go. He chose Denver because he knew he would get, plays, snaps, touches. I have more on that later. But just from the Broncos beat writer here, this is from Cody Rourke. I like this quote quite a bit. He said, J.K. Dobbins will likely be the starter here. R.J. Harvey is going to see an extensive number of touches. Completely agree. And then Jaleel McLaughlin is Sean Payton's most trusted guy, which sounds like a headache, but it's true. Like I could see a lot of McLaughlin on third downs, pass protection. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. All these guys actually are good receivers. R.J. Harvey's a phenomenal receiver. J.K. Dobbins has been catching the ball a ton in training camp. So we're going to see all three. But yeah, I think J.K. Dobbins is for sure going to be the early down guy, at least to start. And I think as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, this is not that it's the exact same, but it's kind of resembles, right, what Sean Payton had in New Orleans. Right? It always felt like Sean Payton ran like a three running back committee there with we had Mark Ingram, Pierre Thomas, Reggie Bush for a couple of years, and all those guys were awesome. Not that that these guys are not that J.K. Dobbins is Reggie Bush or anything, but it kind of feels like J.K. Dobbins is probably the first second down on the first 3-4 drives guy, and then maybe mix RJ Harvey and get, maybe Jaleel McLaughlin work some red zone stuff. But again, I think if we're boiling it down, it's hard to believe that J.K. Dobbins is not running back one.
I completely agree. Yeah, looking at the stats. So this is the last year Mark Ingram was there and played the full season. So he's 28 years old. Alvin Kamara obviously isn't the Alvin Kamara of now, but was 22. This really resembles the current backfield, does it not?
Yeah.
Like this feels exactly it. And you can see Alvin Kamara had 120 carries in 16 games. Great. He had 100 targets.
I cannot see it.
No? Is it too low? Can you see it now or no? Is it not loading? There it goes.
There we go.
Okay. So looking at this, 120 carries for Alvin Kamara, 100 targets for Alvin Kamara. Awesome.
Yeah.
This feels exactly like what RJ Harvey can do. 230 carries, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns for Mark Ingram, and he still caught the ball 58 times, 400 yards.
Right.
This is what I envision here. And McLaughlin will come in and take a little bit of a larger chunk out of the receiving, I think. I think he'll still carry the ball a little bit. But even still, I think we're going to see a lot of J.K. Dobbins. I think we're going to see a lot of R.J. Harvey. And one of them is getting drafted a lot earlier than the other one. So I'm taking the guy who's going to be, drafted a little bit later. Looking at ADP right now, and I think both these guys will go up. So right now, R.J. Harvey is running back 26th, and that is early 6th round. That feels around right to me, to be honest. J.K. Dobbins is running back 43, and he's getting drafted in the 10th round. That is free money. Give me that all day.
Yeah, I mean, again, J.K. Dobbins to me, right, everyone's saying R.J. Harvey is going to be that running back that Denver so desperately needed last year. That's J.K. Dobbins. And I think Denver is as good of, if not better than they were last year. They made the playoffs last year. J.K. Dobbins is going to step into an RB1 role, not necessarily an RB1 role, but an RB1 touch role, I guess, on a playoff team. At running back 43, you're right. It's definitely going to go up as training camp moves on. But if you're drafting right now, you're telling me I'm getting a starting running back on a playoff team at the running back 43, and I would say that you're fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely love the value. I love all of that. J.K. Dobbins had an okay season last year, I would say. This is the boom bust data you will get access to. If you're a member, you get this spreadsheet where you can sort like this. If you just buy the draft kit, you get a PDF of this. Looking at J.K. Dobbins, so last year he ended up playing only a fraction of the games. He missed 4 games. He was pretty healthy, but he missed 4. Finished as running back 24, not bad. What I really want to focus on, J.K. Dobbins
running back 24 is an RB2, by the way.
Right. Well, missing 4 games, so better than that on a per game basis. And I mean, the Chargers weren't good at running the football last year, but even with splitting the carries, even with being on an offense that wasn't running the ball as much as they wanted, he was never a bust. So he never lost you a week. He was worthy of a start. So being a top 24 running back over 58% of the time, he was a top 6 running back in a week, a quarter of the time. That is the guy that is currently going as running back 43 in an arguably better situation, not a worse one at the very least.
Give it
to me. An interview that no one is talking about yet, and maybe they won't, but J.K. Dobbins did an interview after practice today, and the reporter asked him about R.J. Harvey, like, yeah, he's really good, whatever. Asked him about the Broncos. J.K. Dobbins is super excited to be there. He's happy to be there. And then the reporter asked him about the running back committee. And he's like, what do you think of this committee? Do you think anything's going to happen? And J.K. Dobbins said, I have no idea what you're talking about with the committee. He's like, I don't see this as a committee whatsoever. And that's a player talking as someone who wants to be an RB1. He also said he wants 25 touches a game as a starting running back, which they all do. But, I think there's a gray area in the middle here. I don't think J.K. Dobbins is going to get 25 carries. But I believe him where I think there's a clear separation between RB1 and RB2 right now. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they're just logically thinking as a football coach, there has to be. You bring in the veteran to run the ball so you don't destroy your rookie that you're going to need in 2-3 years to contend for a Super Bowl. It just makes too much sense for J.K. Dobbins to be RB1 here.
Yeah. So if you end up filling out your starting lineup, you draft a bunch of receivers, you get your quarterback, you get an elite tight end, you're feeling good. I'm telling you, if I end up with J.K. Dobbins as my RB2, I'm not upset.
Right.
And he's going late. I want more people. I would go pretty heavy at running back after that, just because, let's be honest, his health hasn't been great. But when J.K. Dobbins is healthy and on the field, he got hurt last year, and he wasn't a bust one time. So as long as he's healthy and playing in the game, I think you are going to be able to trust that you can start him in your lineup.
Yep. Agreed.
So I love it. I love the value. I love J.K. Dobbins as a player. I love the Broncos offensive line. Again, one of the best in football. Obviously everyone knows, or at least should know, Quinn Miners. UW Whitewater. Love that. Let's just take a look just so you can see the guys they still have on the offensive line. People are a little quiet about the Broncos offensive line. Garrett Bowles signed that big contract a couple years ago. Still great. Ben Powers moves bodies. Mike McGlinchey, by the way, from the 49ers a couple years ago, he did not retire. He is still moving bodies here. Great. One of the better right tackles in the game. Wattenberg, again, he just eats up space, doesn't really make a ton of mistakes on the inside. And then Quinn Miners is one of the best guards in football.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And they run a fullback. If you are a team that runs a fullback, I'm a fan of you. Plain and simple. Especially running the football. I love it. Yeah, fire up this Broncos backfield. There's a lot of, again, this whole segment is not RJ Harvey hate by either of us, I assume.
No, I went out of my way to get him in a dynasty league, just not necessarily a redraft league.
Yeah, even still, I think he's going to be valuable for redraft.
Yeah,
I assume his week 12 role is much bigger than his week 1 role.
for sure.
But even still, love RJ Harvey, would love to own both Broncos running backs. If I'm choosing to draft one of them right now, without a doubt, it's J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
He's a better value, and I think he has a larger role for fantasy football purposes on a week in, week out basis.
Yep.
Pretty.
Not to mention his receiving upside, because he is a good receiver.
Yeah. All of them are. This Broncos backfield is going to be catching a shit ton of passes. A ton, and Bo Nix is not afraid to check it down.
Yep.
Like we saw that last year. It's going to be check down, deep bomb to Cortland Sutton, stuff like that, or Evan Engram up the seam. Love Evan Engram as well. Okay, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers, a team we were very familiar with, a team Luke was in the locker room with them, obviously. So let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. They have an interesting running back situation. Luke, I'll let you talk through this one because you were boots on the ground there. So what are you looking at with the Green Bay Packers depth chart here?
So boots on the ground. Yes, I was. Just so my whole thought since, and this, like, I'm going to take it back a couple years when Jordan Love took over as the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. Over these last, 2-3 years, it's always been that Green Bay has the best receiving core in the league, yada, yada, yada. None of them ever worked out in fantasy. You know why? Because they're all not really that good, and they all catch about 30 to 50 passes a season, and you get maybe 6-7 out of them. But the one thing that has stood the test of time with Jordan Love has been the running back position. Aaron Jones has been awesome as always. Josh Jacobs came in and was just the workhorse that everyone expected him to be last year, and I was expecting the same thing until I went to practice on whenever that was, last week, and saw how much that they love Marshawn Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd is a guy who, as a Pack fan, scares me because he's a guy that's going to be really fun to watch, and it's also going to be very frustrating because he is going to fumble a lot given how he runs the football. But they like him a lot. Josh Jacobs, he had to be close to, if not had 300 carries, close to. It kind of feels like that's what the offense should be this year. Given the moving around on the offensive line. Zach Tom is fine, right? They just paid him. Aaron Banks, I think, is a great run blocker. He's fine. Elton Jenkins is fine. Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan, Sheed Walker. I still think the book's out on him. But anyways, Josh Jacobs is going to get the ball. We know that Matt LaFleur wants to run the ball. I'm a little bit lower now on Josh Jacobs, seeing how much Marshawn Lloyd is probably going to be involved. Like, he was off last year, right? It kind of feels like he had the year off. He can kind of come in and spell Josh Jacobs at least a little bit early. I don't know. Is that what you think? Is that what you're seeing?
Yes and no. I will say this, and again, let's just talk about the draft kit again because we got to. We have a section here talking about overused running backs, and this measures carries from the past 3 years. This does not measure catches, but because you're seeing most of the contact through carries, right? Josh Jacobs over the past 3 years, almost 900 carries. And if you just want to take what he has done as a receiver, then if you want, he's got another 126 receptions just in the regular season to add on to that. So over 1,000 touches over the past 3 years. Josh Jacobs, I think he's either going to see less of a workload or he's going to get hurt. Like, at some point, the wheels fall off. He's 27 years old. Nothing suggested that he's becoming a worse player, right? But last season is the longest season he has ever played in his entire career.
Yeah.
His entire career. Because he played 17 games because, that's the length of the season now. And then he played a playoff game. He never did that before. He played 17 games here, but he didn't make the playoffs. But guess what? He played 17 games, saw 340 carries, and what happened the next year? He played 13 games. Yes, it's because he was on the Raiders, a bad team, and there really wasn't a reason to come back, right? But that doesn't change the fact that he got hurt. Josh Jacobs now, at 27 years old, saw, 350 touches last year. He's got to see less. If the Packers want to contend, if they think they are good enough to contend, They have to manage his workload throughout the year. And that should, if everything goes correctly, should be Marshawn Lloyd. To your point, I know they love Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah.
I love Marshawn Lloyd. He is an electric running back who is the perfect lightning to Josh Jacobs' thunder. The issue for Marshawn Lloyd throughout his entire career, the short career, second-year player, is injuries, right? And a little bit is not the gift of God, an act of God, right? Like he got hurt last year, came back, and he had an appendix.
Yeah.
Like I can't fault him for it, but it sucks. The issue now becomes Marshawn Lloyd's hurt again. Marshawn Lloyd pulled a groin. It sounds like they're being overly cautious with it because that's what kept him out early last year was a groin injury, I do believe. Josh Jacobs talked on it, said he's going to be all right. Not going to miss much time. Don't know the extent of the injury, but I know nothing's major. He's going to be all right. That is a player giving an injury report on another player, but still everything I've heard is that he's not expected to miss much time.
Agreed. Same.
I think there's a real chance he doesn't play in the preseason. I think
which is fine.
But, right. I think there's a chance. But I expect him to be back for week 1. But again, it's another soft tissue injury. And if he's back for week 1, is he there for week 2? Is he there for week 3? That's the issue. But this is what I'm going to try to stress for most players we talk about this entire summer. In a big one that we'll talk about who's going in the first round, we'll talk about him at some point this summer as well. Everyone's asking with these injury-prone players, like, what if he gets hurt? I challenge you to think, what if he doesn't?
Right.
Because if Marshawn Lloyd plays 17 games, I think he's flex value.
Yeah, I agree. To add on to that, what if he gets hurt? What if any player gets hurt? Why
exactly
you can't draft based off of injuries and stuff. But yeah, so just logically speaking, just trying to think this out, right? Let's say Marshawn Lloyd is not hurt, he's ready to go. He's all excited. He's going to be RB2 in Green Bay. We know Matt LaFleur likes to run two running backs. Josh Jacobs is going to get the first 2 drives. Marshawn Lloyd's probably going to come in, get the 3rd, start of the 4th, maybe mix it on the 5th. Like we saw with Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, even Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams a little bit. So is that enough? Is that enough to make you go out and say, "Hey, I need Marshawn Lloyd on my team," or is it more of the thought of I have Josh Jacobs, I have to have Marshawn Lloyd? I kind of worded that question weird, but
I'll start by saying if I draft Josh Jacobs early or if I have him in Dynasty or something like that, I need to have Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
Like the only way I will change that opinion is if Marshawn Lloyd comes back in 2 weeks and then he pulls a hamstring. At that point, I'm sort of just getting sick of it. It's turning into a Christian Watson thing where it's like just soft tissue. And I need him to prove that he can stay healthy. But again, I'm going into this thinking he plays 17 games, and I'm thinking the appendix thing, which kept him out most of the season last year, like that was the bigger issue than the groin injury last year, if I do remember right. You can't fault him for that. It just is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. I remember when Joe Burrow had his appendix almost burst.
Yep.
And he's been as healthy as ever since then. He had that wrist thing, but maybe getting an appendix out is going to help him stay healthier. I don't know the science behind that. I just know appendixes do something mysterious that we don't necessarily need. So maybe it's a detriment to the body. But if I'm in a league and I don't have Josh Jacobs, in best ball, Lloyd's been one of my favorite last round selections.
Sure.
There's few players that you can take a dart throw in the last round, second to the last round. You can see he's going 1402, and that could be a little bit skewed. He might be completely free, completely undrafted. There's few players you can take in the final rounds of those drafts, and they just skyrocket. They become league winners. He's one of those players. If Josh Jacobs gets hurt, that shouldn't surprise a single person. If he gets hurt, Marshawn Lloyd's the running back 1, and he's going to be very, very good.
Again, yeah, running back one in a playoff offense, right?
Yeah.
So looking at the other side of the card here, Josh Jacobs is probably going around that mid to late second round, right? How much
Mhm.
of a detriment to Josh Jacobs is Marshawn Lloyd being healthy?
Being healthy, I think a little bit. I think Josh Jacobs going 15th overall right now, which is 203. I did write it down. That would be running back 8. So I think he might be a little bit overdrafted right now if Marshawn Lloyd's healthy. I still like Josh Jacobs, though. I still
Yeah,
think the offense is good enough where he's going to get a lot of carries inside the red zone and score touchdowns. But would I want Josh Jacobs or do I want Jonathan Taylor? I think that's a real conversation, and I might lean Taylor. Josh Jacobs or Bucky Irving? Again, real conversation. I want him. I want Jacobs over Kyron Williams. I want Jacobs over Chase Brown and him over Alvin Kamara. So I think that's the line I'm drawing for sure. But I think this group right here, Jacobs, Genty, even Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, I think you can mix them up kind of wherever. And
interesting.
I may prefer Jonathan Taylor in that group.
Interesting. I don't disagree. My pushback is, as I said, to start talking with the Packers, is the Packers have a lot of above average players on their offense. I think Josh Jacobs is by far the best player on this offense. I think
Sure.
he might be a top three player on the team. If you want a Packer, because Packers, we know the Packers are going to score points. We know they're going to move the ball. We know they're going to run the ball. If you would need a Packer, I think Josh Jacobs is the one you take, right? Not that that really does anything to help our conversation here. I'm just trying to think out loud in terms of the receivers, the tight ends, the quarterback. If you could take one player on the Packer, it's still Josh Jacobs, even at that 203 mark.
I mean, we've talked about this offline. There's a lot of hype going on with Tucker Kraft right now at the tight end position. We both think the hype's too high relative to what his week in, week out role is going to be. So I think some people would argue him. I would not. I guess let's take a look at what Jaden Reed's. Jaden Reed currently is going 100th overall, 808. I don't hate that value. And then the other one would be Golden. I wouldn't consider anybody else. I'm not taking. Someone's been trying to offer me Romeo Dobbs in a trade. Get him away. Don't want him. Golden's going a little bit below him, 907, 114 overall. Obviously, Jacobs is a better fantasy player than both of them. I'm just trying to think of value-wise if I like either of them more. Probably not. I just think their value is going to be too inconsistent. Whereas I think Jacobs is going to be more consistent. My whole thing, though, so let's project the Packers and Josh Jacobs because
Okay.
you and I both know the Packers had a patty cake schedule last year.
Correct.
I think it gets tougher this year. And I think that means they're going to be trailing more, and I think they're not going to score as many points. I think they're going to score plenty. I don't think they're going to be a bad offense, but I think there were situations where they were up. They got to run the ball 25, 30 times with Josh Jacobs. I don't foresee that happening very often. So if you just assume running plays in general go down a little bit, and then we're saying his percentage of running plays goes down a little bit because of Marshawn Lloyd.
Yep.
If Lloyd's pass protection's okay, I think they would rather have Lloyd on the field in third downs as well.
For sure.
That's a big question mark. I'm purely speculating there. Like I think,
I'll say,
okay,
just to add to that point, Packers aren't going to keep four running backs with Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks. They love Chris Brooks, who has been a good pass blocker. Has been a good pass blocker in his time. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that he does not see the field, on third downs to come in
That's fair.
and do the receiving game.
That's completely fair. So I mean, in terms of the Josh Jacobs situation, same conversation, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a real chance Josh Jacobs struggles to give us RB1 value consistently. I think he's completely safe as a starter for you, but
so if you're drafting,
he's going as RB8. Like, what percentage of the time do I think he's a top 12 running back? I think about 50.
So yeah, I don't disagree. So if you're coming around, he's going, what'd you say, 203 or whatever?
Yep.
coming around, you take, I don't know, Jahmyr Gibbs. You coming back and take Josh Jacobs. I kind of like that a lot. If you come
Sure.
if you're starting CD Lamb, you're not coming around and doing Josh Jacobs.
Not necessarily. Just because I don't think Josh Jacobs is a miss unless he gets hurt. Like, I think there's a chance Bucky Irving just does not come back to what he was, right? But if we're talking about everybody here is completely healthy, I think we know what Derrick Henry is.
Yep.
I think Ashton Genty is going to be great if he stays healthy.
Yep.
Great's relative, but I think he's going to be fine. Jacobs is going to be perfectly fine if he's healthy. And then Jonathan Taylor is going to be perfectly fine if he's healthy. Bucky Irving, we don't have a big enough sample size. I think he's okay.
Yeah, I'm willing to throw it at Bucky Irving.
Sure. But if we're saying one of them has a question mark, I think it has to be Bucky.
Sure.
Or Genty, but I don't know. I feel pretty confident.
For sake of argument, I think Bucky Irving's the right there.
But yeah, I don't mind going CD, going Puka, and then coming back and taking Jacobs because you have a legitimate wide receiver 1. And then I don't know anyone who's really gives you more confidence if they're healthy.
Yeah.
Even with a reduced role.
Yeah. But I think it makes that, just to circle all the way back on Marshawn Lloyd, Josh Jacobs is your RB1. You better damn sure make sure that you have Marshawn Lloyd on your roster.
Yeah, you have to. And there's so many other people that drafters right now are considering sleepers, considering breakouts. No one's really talking about Marshawn Lloyd. And I think people just forget the type of player he was because it's been so long since we've seen him do it. Because I think everyone's just thinking Josh Jacobs is the 100% snap rate guy like Christian McCaffrey is, but he's not.
Right. Do you still have Josh Jacobs' stats up?
Yeah.
How many rushing touchdowns did he have last year?
15.
So would it be crazy to say that number drops to 10 and Marshawn Lloyd has 5 this year?
Not crazy, no.
Right.
I mean, the most he's ever had was 12. So obviously, this is probably, if last season's Packers team wasn't the best offense he was on, it's the second best.
Right.
You know, talking each season being a new team. But regardless, he outscored his top by 3, and I just don't think that's sustainable. And he had his first receiving touchdown of his career last year.
He did.
And the other running backs behind him that, like we already talked about, are much better receivers than he is. So if we get into the red zone, you know, play action or do something like that, maybe they are willing to throw it a little bit more. And I think that comes down to the confidence in Jordan Love. If Jordan Love's continue to improve, they'll be more willing to throw it in the red zone as well. If not, if he's still a little bit iffy with his decision making, then that's certainly a plus for Josh Jacobs, without a doubt. In red zone, at least. But yeah, Packers schedule this year, not as easy as last year. I just want to bring that up. Because aside from, divisional opponents, I think got better. But
how is it possible? I'm sorry to cut you off. How is it possible that Bronny James is the lead story on ESPN.com right now?
Unfortunately, I think it's very possible.
Like, that's crazy.
It shouldn't be, but it's so stupid. But looking at Packers' schedule here, Commanders aren't very great. Browns' defense isn't the issue. Cowboys have a good defense. Bengals, we'll see what Hendrickson happens here. Cardinals have a pretty good defense. We know what the Steelers are. Eagles are legit, obviously. The Giants' defensive front is as good as anybody's in football. Broncos, we talked about earlier, best defense.
Vikings too. I think they're a little underrated defense.
Right. And then the Ravens are there too. So like,
and Bears too, of course.
But Lions are going to be healthier, and they committed to the defensive front. They're going to be better. Bears defense is good. Vikings defense is pretty good. So divisional opponents, I think, got better. Non-divisional opponents all are much tougher this year. And if you even just talking about running against them, I think the run defenses are stronger, but I think the offenses that the Packers play are better this year as well. So the chances of the Packers being able to just lean on the run in the fourth quarter, I think, is a lot less.
Yeah.
We'll talk about in a future show later in August if that translates to wins or not.
Okay, I was gonna say I'll set you up for a softball here. That was good Packer talk, man. We should start a podcast about talking with the Packers.
We should. We could call it like Lombardi sweep or something. What
Does
do you
that
say?
exist?
I think it does exist.
Oh,
Maybe if
hell yeah.
everyone, I'm not sure. Let's all collectively go and look on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and subscribe to whatever one is there. And if there's multiple, subscribe to a couple and flag the one that doesn't include our voices, please. Report them. They're
Right.
impersonating us. I think we're good. But
So in a nutshell, I think Josh Jacobs, like we said, fine. You know, coming in as your RB2, I love him as an RB2 if you can get him there.
Mhm.
If you draft two running backs to start, RB1, I think, like you said, I think it's fine. If he's your RB1, you better make damn sure you have Marshawn Lloyd on your team.
yeah, currently he's going at in round 14. I could see him trending up to round 13, maybe late round 12 around normal draft season. I'm willing to reach for somebody like that if I have Josh Jacobs as my starter. Like, why wouldn't I reach for the insurance policy?
Right.
Because there's nobody else there that you're going to draft and play over Josh Jacobs. So you might as well draft the guy who's going to be an RB1 or borderline RB2 if Josh Jacobs isn't healthy.
It's like
That's what you got to think of it as.
yeah, it's similar to like, right, you get a new phone, you're gonna pay the extra, $40 to get a case on it in case, something happens.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well. It is what it is. And all of a sudden, if you have to drop him in week 3 or something, fine. I wouldn't do it. But if you have to, who cares? You invested pretty much nothing in him. It's fine. You're going to be good to go. Now, anything else before we plug the draft kit one more time?
Plug it.
Nope. Okay, so Friday, August 1st, the fantasy football, the award-winning Flurry Sports Fantasy Football Draft Kit comes out. So if you scan the
2.5
QR
days
code,
away.
2.5 days, it's crazy. There is too much for me to continue to get done. I just did all the fantasy team names. I got a big old list. So, and made a cool AI picture, which you will all see with maybe Puka Nakua with some lions and stuff. There's some good stuff there. But the fantasy football draft kit's going to be great. We got 30 pages of data of my rankings. My rankings are not on flurrysports.org yet. The only place where you can get my rankings right away is going to be the draft kit. Scan the QR code, or if you go, we'll have a link in the description, or go to buymeacoffee.com/Zach Brunner, ZACHBRUNNER, and become a member. If you're a member for one coffee per month, $5 per month, you get the draft kit and the data files completely for free. That means you can continue to sort the data. You can do whatever you want with the data. That is the better deal, I promise. Or you can buy the draft kit itself for $10. And we are going to continue to update it throughout the summer. So even if you buy it on August 1st, don't worry if I make updates to the rankings on August 10th. You will have those updates as well. And we'll update the depth chart. We'll update any potential stats. I think pretty much all the stats are locked in, but you never know. All updates will happen on that draft kit. If you are a member, you get access to a group chat. If you're a second tier member, you get shout outs in the show, and all kinds of stuff. And if you want to recommend new features, new stats, new data in the draft kit that you want to see, tell us and we will put it in. Easy as that. One other plug. You're watching this maybe on Flurry Sports right now. We are going to continue to do all of our live streams on the Flurry Sports YouTube page and anywhere else you may be seeing this. But when we cut up fantasy football videos this year, it's going to be on Fantasy Football by Committee. That is Fantasy Football by Committee. Maybe you saw an intro to this. That's the name. Go to YouTube, search up Fantasy Football by Committee, and we will be posting fantasy football content there all year long. So definitely subscribe over there as well, because you will not want to miss that. Luke, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I think just like I kind of said off the jump, man, it's like football's here. Like this is what we wait for since February, right? It sucks not having football on the weekends. If come the Sunday night and you're stuck in, you're getting ready for work in the morning, or you couldn't do whatever. You miss that football, man. You miss sitting down at 7:20, listen to Mike Tirico open up at Lambeau Field. Now Chris Collinsworth, give or take, but it's
Fair.
just just the idea of the guys going out and competing. I said off the show, baseball I think is the greatest game ever created. Football is probably the greatest sport just because that's like the ultimate competitor, like beat the fuck out of each other in the trenches. Let's have some fun watching football this year.
And we have football this week.
We do.
Thursday's the Hall of Fame game. We usually get all hyped up about it, and then the hype gets to be too big, and then we're a little disappointed. So let's temper expectations, but I think we'll see Hendon Hooker play.
Yeah, I'm excited
That's
for
fun.
that. Trey Lance, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Trey Lance. Honestly, if we see Trey Lance versus Hendon Hooker, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So give me anything. We got Dan Campbell. So we'll get an interview with Dan Campbell. They're going to do that. Just keep people
Harbaugh
watching.
too.
And Harbaugh. Honestly, the two best coaches they probably could have picked for that. I don't know how many of the rookies that are hyped up we'll see, but there's going to be some players on the field.
Where do Jim Harbaugh and Dan Campbell rank in terms of football guys to ever be in the NFL? Like they got to be
up there,
top 4 maybe, both of them.
Mm-hmm. They're old school guys, man.
Right.
Like they're so different too. Dan Campbell is more of the old school, hard nosed, no joking. I think Harbaugh is weird, but did you see the curtain drill he was doing with Justin Herbert where he kept peeking his head out?
Mm-hmm. The best.
And then he explained the drill for 3 minutes in front of reporters. It's incredible.
One of the best NFL clips of all time is last year when Justin Herbert was warming up throwing passes to Harbaugh, and Harbaugh dropped it, and he got so pissed off about it.
Yeah, that's just upset. Yeah,
the dude just wants to go out and suit up, man.
He wears his cleats on game day.
Right.
Yeah. I love that he made the team listen to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald to get them hyped up pregame. That is my type of guy right there.
I think I put Gruden in that top 4 too.
Gruden's a psychopath. Yeah,
he might be one.
There's very few people who get fired and then watch more film and then do more work and then say whatever you want about Gruden. We need him doing more with football. It's just better. Like there's enough. This is me getting on a soapbox, but everybody that you see on TV at the moment right now basically has skeletons in their closet. So let's at least get him back on Monday Night Football or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for him to be in the NFL coaching, but there was not much better than Gruden on Monday Night Football.
Right.
He was awesome. So just let him talk. Who cares? He's talking on the internet anyway. Probably less people will see him if he's on TV.
Mm-hmm.
If we're being honest.
True.
So let's do that. Kick Collinsworth out. Put Gruden in there. We'll be good to go.
Oh, Gruden and Tirico is like perfect.
It would be. And I also like Kirk Herbstreit. I'm surprised Amazon didn't throw Gruden.
Agreed.
Something that feels like something they would do.
Hey, real quick, NBA is moving to Amazon, or they're moving to whatever they're doing, Amazon, I think, and they're doing a bunch of players are going to be like commentating and stuff. They're bringing they're bringing Jordan in.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in-game commentary?
I think it's like they're doing like the Charles Shack show on Amazon, and I think like Blake Griffin's on it, maybe Trace McGrady. I think he just signed somewhere. So a bunch of like different players, but I think they said they're bringing Jordan in periodically.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't suck. I don't think he will, but if Jordan does anything now, he has to be perfect at it. You know what I mean? He can't come in and half-ass anything because it just kind of gets sad.
Right.
We need him to be the GOAT at everything in life at this point, which I think he can be. If he listens, we have Wayne Gretzky talking about hockey all the time. That's probably the pressure for him to do that.
True. And I guess Brady's kind of in football now, right? So, yeah, maybe there's a little itch going.
Yeah, I love it. That's a good move by them.
Yeah.
So, down with that. So, we will be back there's probably going to be another stream at some point later this week, but for sure, next week we got Hard Knocks, but we will start doing more fantasy football content soon. So if you're watching this on YouTube, comment any fantasy videos you want to see, and we'll do them. Whether it be who to draft at the second overall spot, late draft sleepers, busts, whatever you want, let us know and we can do that.
Yeah, even as we trek through training camp here, here's a little behind the curtains meeting into Flurry Sports. I don't hate, going over like we did hit three news items and talk about the impact of that on fantasy. If that's, a 2-3 day a week stream, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then if there's any specific, obviously, news you want us to cover, then you just tell us and we'll do it too. But if you put it up to us, then you might get a question about clowns before we jump into football. That's on you at that point. But yeah, subscribe, comment, like, go to flurrysports.org, go to buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner for the draft kit.